What an amazing event this is. I was very upset to hear there was a kick-ass party and nobody told me. They invite me after the party. That's not really cool. Tonight is the party too? All right, maybe I'll see what I can do. I hear I have to bring my real Irish gene drinking, that we got some competition here. All right, okay. I'll meet you at the bar. O'Donnell, come on, it only makes sense. So let me tell you, I was in a prison visiting Lyle Menendez. I know that's weird. I don't think we have enough time for me to go into it, but I found that justice was not being served in their case, and had his brother Eric been a girl, Lyle Menendez would be a hero for stopping the rape of his sister from the father after all those years. So I became friendly with him after his wife saw a TikTok I did, and they asked me to go watch his presentation. So I watched the presentation. I was very starstruck. He's a lot older because he's been in there for 34 years. It's hard to believe. As I'm leaving, this handsome guy named Russ comes over to me and goes, "Hey, Miss O'Donnell, would you like to see our dogs?" And I'm thinking, who is this asshole, It's illegal to have dogs in a prison. Even I know that, And we go in, and there are these beautiful labs and men standing beside them, and they were very well trained. And, I was a little bit nervous, right? It was a big prison with a lot of guards and helping us walk through the yard. And so I was a little nervous. And when I get nervous, I say stupid things. And I said to one of the guys, he said, "Miss O'Donnell, this is my 4th dog, and this has changed my life." And, I said, "How long have you been here?" And he said, 15 years. And I said, "Oh, so you must be getting out soon." And he said, "No, I'm life without." Life without. And that's exactly what happens to these people in prison. Their life is removed from them, and they are only their crime, and we don't rehabilitate, as Russ was saying. And so when he said, "I'm in life without," I started babbling. "Oh, well, I have a kid who has autism, and I thank you on behalf of all the autism parents, because I'm sure you're going to be getting out, and I don't feel at all awkward." And then Russ said, "You have a kid with autism?" And I said, "Yes." How is it that I, a known autism advocate, has had a child for 11 years, and I had no idea there was anything like an Autism Service Dog? When Russ first told me about it, I thought, well, it can't be true. Now, my child at the time was in a pretty severe regression. They were not leaving the house. They were not going out to school some days, and they would not play with their friends. They were totally going inward. And I was at a loss. This is my 5th child. I'm 62. I adopted all of them. I had the epidural anyway, because... I didn't want to miss that. But this one came out totally different. I was there when she was born. That was not the case 25 years ago, 30 years ago with my other children. But with this young mother, wanted me in the room and pushed this baby out. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And the nurse goes to hand it to the birth mother, and she says, "No, that's the mom," and hands the baby to me. And she grabbed my pinky, and that was the end of the story, because I was totally in love. Now, I knew she was different. I knew she was awkward. I knew she was funny. But I didn't really think autism until she was 1. When she was 1, we were watching Frozen, and she said, clear as day, "I've been impaled," which is what Olaf says when he gets the icicle through his nose. Remember? "I've been impaled." I'm like, "You're 1. You're not supposed to be saying things like this." Then she's 2. She says, "Mom, Timmy urinated in the room adjacent to the den." 2 years old. When she's 3, she met a nonverbal boy at school, and he was talking to her in his own way, babbling a bit, and she looked at him right in the face and said, "I'm sorry, Stephen, but I don't speak Spanish." So it's been quite a journey with this child. And when I met Russ, I wasn't really sure what to do. And you know who pushed me to apply? Lyle Menendez. He said to me, "You're a mom just like all the other moms that have kids." And I kept thinking, just like the vets think. When you talk to the vets when you're there doing your course, they said, I didn't want to take one because I figure there's somebody worse than me. And I thought the same thing. I thought, maybe there's a nonverbal child who needs this in a different, maybe, it's not a severe enough case, even though it's moderate on the scale of mild, moderate, severe. But we ended up doing it, and I have to tell you, it changed our entire world. It changed my life. It changed my ability to have a life. It has allowed me to see this child who is full of anxiety and nerves and anxiousness spiritually get like a bath in aloe vera inside her nervous system. Something happened that the other mothers told me would happen, but I wasn't so sure. But I was desperate. And when they opened the door and they brought Kuma in, they said, this is your dog and you have 30 minutes to get to know them and then meet us in the other room. And I looked at the dog and I had all choked up. I started to cry and I said, listen, you and me, we're going to save my kid. And that's what this dog has done. And everyone in this room has contributed to that story. They take the dog, I say they because she also told me she was non-binary. When she was 10, she lined up all of her stuffed animals on the bed and said, I want you to know, all my stuffed animals are non-binary. I said, really? Even the elephant? I had no idea. I said, what exactly is non-binary? She says, well, I'm not a boy and I'm not a girl. And I said, wow, that's pretty interesting. She says, are you non-binary? I'm like, no, I'm an OG lesbian bitch. Pretty easy. And she looks up and goes, bitch is pejorative. Where do these kids come from? They're like, it's like another planet. I've raised 5 children. The 4 of them never did any of the things that she's doing. People say to me, you must be coaching her. Coaching her? Right, I had 4 kids, I didn't coach them, but I got to be 62 and decided the 11-year-old autistic kid, that's the one I'm gonna make gay, As if you can make a kid gay. Trust me, you can't, because I tried with my first 4. And no, a lot of musicals, a lot of drag shows, RuPaul, stuff like that, but they're so completely not interested, which is how it's supposed to be, because you can't make somebody anything other than what they are. And I will say this, we got the dog in February. At the end of the school year, the school just started yesterday, and I flew in on the red eye so that I could be at their first day and then come here and not miss this big event, and to give you my gratitude and my thanks, and to let you know that there are so many families who could use this treatment. The school teacher said, what happened in February? And I said, what do you mean? They said, since February, they have an unbelievable upturn. They are now the most improved student in the school. And the thing about autistic kids is they can't lie. They don't lie. You can't get them to lie. If like this kid was invited to the Halloween party and it was the wrong Liam. I felt bad for that kid that day, because opens the door, sees him full in a Halloween costume and says, look, Liam, nobody likes you. You must know this. Everyone in the class finds you annoying. I'm like, holy shit, no, she didn't. She's playing an acting role. Get in the kitchen right now, God damn it. And the father's like, don't yell at your autistic kid. I'm like, fuck you too. Why did you come to the party? It's obvious Liam wasn't invited. Nobody likes Liam. So the school couldn't believe when I told them that there's one difference in the life of this child who's about to turn 12. There's one difference, and it's a dog. And they said, no, is she on medication? Is she taking any new therapy classes? Is she going to? I said, it is a dog, and it's a therapeutic tool for autistic families to use to get their kids who are floating away before our very eyes. And if it wasn't for the machinists union, if it wasn't for that man who lost his sight and demanded that people be treated with dignity and respect, to create something like this, to create this out of a union, to create this out of like-minded people, this feeling in this room is hope. This feeling is what we're feeling since Joe Biden, God bless him, stepped down. And this is the feeling that's going to carry us through fascism and past dictatorship. And we will all tell our children and our grandchildren how it is that we fought to save the country that we all love so much. I'm thrilled to know that AOC is going to be here, but I have a Zoom call at 4 with the school, and I'm not going to be able to be here. But when she comes up there, I want everyone to say at once, "Rosie fucking loves you," because I think that's what I would say. It's not exactly the right tone of, because I don't think she'll care about a curse. Do you? She'd probably be like, "Screw Trump, sit and spin," But when I was there, I was asking Russ and Zach about what their publicity was, because I tried to buy a T-shirt and their store was woefully inadequate. And they explained to me, well, this is, what they're doing the dogs. They're not doing publicity, right? And I said, well, what other famous people have gotten a dog through you? And he said, no one. No one. And I knew God taps you on the shoulder in your life sometimes, right? And when God taps you on the shoulder, you pay attention and you listen. And I said, well, I'm going to be the person that for the next 30 years, should I be so lucky, this is going to be my cause, and this is going to be my focus in my philanthropic work. This exact place, and GDA forever. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you having me. Remember, invite me to the parties.